It's a very good evening and welcome to Network. My name is Siphumelele Zondi. Now tonight we have information on MTN's problems in South Africa and Nigeria. We'll tell you about how Ethiopia has started rolling out 4G technology. Our guest tonight is Fred Mutori. He will talk to us about the quality and cost of the internet in South Africa. Remember, we are live, so you can find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Let's start with your technology and social media news. MTN has been facing crises in both its biggest markets. Africa's largest mobile phone network operator has been dealing with a worker strike in its native South Africa. In Nigeria, fuel shortages have threatened MTN's business, but the company says it's sorting out both issues. Nigeria is MTN's largest market. In the last week, the South African company has been facing a threat of a possible temporary shutdown in the West African country as a result of fuel shortages. MTN may be the largest in Nigeria, but it is not the only telecoms company that has been facing this crisis in the West African nation. To many, this does not make sense, as Nigeria is Africa's largest oil producer with about 2 million barrels a day. But Nigeria has dilapidated refineries and crude oil is pretty much useless for vehicles and power. So Africa's largest oil producer has to import most of its refined oil. And refined oil importers went on strike, saying they are owed about 12 billion rand in unpaid subsidies by the government, which then affected many businesses, including those in the technology space, like South Africa's MTN.
Most of us believe that if we have our own refineries that can refine our local consumption, we'll not have these problems. But when you put this in the hands of people who want to make profit at our own detriment, they are happy seeing us suffer.
On Friday, Nigeria got a new president, so the government is changing. Oil importers have agreed to end the strike for now, but they're still owed money and refineries are still old. This then becomes a mess new President Muhammadu Buhari will have to clean up. The economic impact of all this is huge.
When you put everything together, by the time MTN shuts down its base stations, by the time Arik and others cancel all their flights and you can't move, by the time the tanker drivers, the trailer drivers who are moving the food cannot move their food, the markets are shut down, goods are shut down, people cannot move, investments are affected, the ATMs are not working because you can't draw cash. The total impact could be as much as $5 billion a day.
Still in Nigeria, MTN's plan to introduce its new TrueTalk Plus service, which could be cheaper for the consumer, has been put on hold by the Nigerian Communications Commission, or NCC. The regulator says MTN is not allowed to introduce the new price plan. MTN is also in discussions to buy Visaphone in the West African nation. This will then increase its control of the country's market. In South Africa, MTN employees have been burning tires and blocking the entrance to the headquarters of the cell phone network giant in Roodepoort. Because of the strike that has lasted almost 2 weeks, MTN call centers, warehouses and repair centers closed. But the company says it's now back online.
We've got strong governance processes internally. You can't just rock in at work, whether you are on strike or not on strike, and disconnect 200,000 or even 5 people, because you have to go through specific stages and so forth.
MTN says about 60% of its call centers employees are outsourced and won't even benefit if an agreement is reached with the Communications Workers Union. The company is offering a bonus increase to employees now, but says salary increases will only be based on employees' performances. This is an offer those on strike are still not happy with. Early this year, Vodacom rolled out its online education portal, otherwise known as an e-school. The e-school allows high school students from grade 8 to 12 to have access to the curriculum and the learning materials. This happens as the Gauteng government is also saying it's becoming digital and getting rid of chalkboards from its schools.
Early this year, Vodacom rolled out what's called an education portal, otherwise known as an e-school. The e-school is an online portal that allows high school students from grade 8 to 12 to have access to the curriculum and the learning materials. Waitumallong High School seems to be a good fit for the e-school initiative, as the high school is paperless and students are already using technology to assist them in their education. The high school has seen changes that are benefiting the students, as there is noticeable improvement in results, especially in mathematics and the sciences.
With the new technology, we are expecting most of our learners to pass at level 4 and to improve on their quality to get more distinction. But we'll see at the end of the results or at the end of the year for results. But presently, we're positive and we're optimistic that we'll get better and improve quality results.
The principal of Waitumallong High School welcomes this initiative, as it is offering her pupils extra help, so to speak.
I think the initiative will enhance on the one that we already have. Remember, all learners, all of them have tablets, and in their tablets we have a TYB portal, that's Test Your Brain portal. And in the portal there's content which is already loaded, textbooks and all other worksheets that these learners need to engage on. So the one that Vodacom is giving us today will be an addition, and it will assist them, because if you have a variety, you are able to see different aspect, concept and how they are being used.
In order for students to be able to get access to the portal, they must register and create a profile that keeps track of their progress. All school subjects that are required by the Basic Education Department for every grade are covered on the portal. This e-school learning portal allows students to learn at their pace, whether a student is ahead of the class or needs to catch up with the other pupils.
Ethiopia recently launched 4G technology in the capital. This will improve internet connection for about 400,000 subscribers in Addis Ababa. The deal was first developed 2 years ago with Chinese companies Huawei and ZTE.
At the click of a button, you will now get the online content you're looking for much faster. That is if you're in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Ethiopia Telecom with Chinese firms Huawei and ZTE have launched a 4G network in a move to increase the connectivity speed. The fourth generation telecommunications technology offers much faster speeds than 3G, allowing users not only to browse the internet more easily, but also run complex and multiple applications. The 4G service, which took 8 months to build, will serve 400,000 subscribers in its initial stage. The State-run Telecom's monopoly is seeing further than just making profits.
If in terms of the business objective, Ethio Telecom is doing in business by expanding these lucrative infrastructures like mobile, internet, data, and so on and so forth, and generate revenue.
The telecom penetration rate as of now stands at 37% as compared to 0.2% 20 years ago. More than 96% of the country is covered with telecom infrastructure on both wireless and mobile.
For the past 10 years, the government has been expanding the telecommunications with a major economic input. For this reason, our country's telecommunication has been increasing multifold in terms of coverage and quality, and so has our ranking in the continent.
With mobile telephony being a big contribution to development, Ethiopia is hoping to cash big on it. The country expects to have a capacity of over 60 million mobile users by the end of the year 2015, with 85% mobile coverage. Ethiopia ranks 6th in mobile capacity in Africa after Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, Morocco, and Algeria.
Producer Lebusi Jage and SABC Digital News producer Matiba Mtiane let us in on what's been happening in the rest of the tech world.
Welcome to the SABC News Tech Wrap. I'm Matiba Swanyoni.
And I'm Lebuhan Sijake.
Now we look at tech news that's doing the round internationally and locally every week. Chat service WeChat partnered up with Pickup that's based in Cape Town, and they launched an on-demand delivery service, which means that you can basically go onto the WeChat platform and look at the available drivers belong to the companies, and get someone who has either a bike, a car, or a small little truck to come and pick up something from your place immediately and deliver it around your neighborhood. You can pay online, you have to be a registered user first.
That's very interesting. Now moving on to international news. You've heard of the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, right? That happens in Las Vegas yearly.
It's massive.
Well, China has had its very first Consumer Electronics Show in Shanghai. Google Glass, iWatch, GoPro cameras were some of the gadgets showcased at this electronics show. Unlike the Las Vegas Expo, it seems China did not display any wild future technology, but instead had the same old stuff that people already know. Well, the bosses there say that they aim to outdo the US Consumer Electronics Show. Well, China does have the largest population in the world, so chances of that happening are pretty big. Still on international news, Matiba, I heard that Deloitte's made predictions, 2015 telecommunications, technology and media predictions.
Yes, so if you're on social media, you might have noticed that TMT predictions was right at the top this week on the trending list on Twitter. The reason for that is because Deloitte every year goes and does research and they make predictions on telecommunications, media and technology. And they kind of give you a glimpse into the future on this is what's expected. So one of the things that I found very interesting is that they predicted that there'll be 1 billion, think about that, 1 billion new smartphones that will be bought as upgrades.
How many cell phones do you have?
I have one.
Talking about gadgets, Google held its annual developers conference this past week. And among some of the cool products introduced was the collaborative invention by Google Inc. and action camera maker GoPro Inc.
We thought it would be good if someone who really knows how to build a great camera could help out. So we called our friends at GoPro. And today, I'm excited to announce that GoPro plans to build and sell a jump-ready 360-degree camera array.
The virtual reality system will be using 16 cameras and Google software.
It's SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter, News Network at sabc.co.za and email. After the break, we talk about the quality and cost of South Africa's internet. Stay with us.
Hola, my gents. There are more than 22,000 voting stations in South Africa, but there's only one for you. That's the one where you registered. Your local station. Vote local, cause local is lekker. Finish en klaar.
Sparks fly over Verwoerd. Let's now have a look at this. Now, Verwoerd, the comment yesterday in Judge, Mr. Sparks lived up to his name and caused quite a few sparks.
It was quite shocking for me to hear him compare HF Verwoerd to Helen Zille in terms of her orator skills.
Mugabe to compensate white farmers for land grab.
I don't know if I'm justified to call it truth and reconciliation Mugabe style.
Watch Media Monitor with me, Alicia Jali, Sundays at 9 a.m. only on the SABC News Channel.
Welcome back. It's SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. Now, in social media, we asked you what you think of South Africa's internet. It seems many are unhappy with the quality and speed and cost of the internet in the country. South Africa's internet quality and the speed were criticized by many we chatted to in social media. They feel it doesn't enable them to properly do their work on the internet. Some say it's expensive, but Google's Mitch Atagana feels this perception is wrong.
South Africa has infrastructure, but they're also methodical. So a company, for instance, in South Africa is going to stay and build until it feels it's perfect before the world can be invited to the party.
Atagana also told us that South Africa's internet has enabled the creation of good quality products, like apps that can make lives easier, or new unique ways of connecting to the internet. To further our discussion about the quality and cost of South Africa's internet is Fred Muturi. He is the CEO of Brightwave, a broadband technology company. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network, Fred.
Thanks for having me.
Now, do you agree that the quality of South Africa's internet is not good enough, as many in social media were telling us?
There could be a perception that it's not, but I think generally it's good. As you saw in the clip, there is quite good infrastructure in South Africa. If you talk about international backhauls, fiber backhauls, you talk about domestic backhauls, whether it's long distance or metros, there is infrastructure. The issue is delivery of that capacity to the end user. That is where there is a problem. There is a constraint in the last mile. If you talk about primarily GSM platforms, then you start having the conflict of it could be a good quality, but it's too expensive, in which case the experience you get as a user is not great, in which case you might say, I'm not really enjoying the internet per se. The delivery of internet to homes is still very limited outside of GSM.
Why is that? What causes that problem in South Africa?
Well, the ideal platform for high-speed broadband access to homes is fiber. And now, upmarket neighborhoods, there's a lot of projects building fiber to homes, and that will inevitably improve the quality of access into homes.
But you're talking about upmarket neighborhoods. Absolutely. For example, in Johannesburg, we could be talking about places like Parkers, but what about people who live in townships, whether it's Umlazi, Kukuletu, even in Soweto?
Absolutely. I think the townships, it's much more expensive to roll out fiber to homes, leave alone the fact that GSM is available, but a lot of the investments to make the network good quality has not been made in townships. So you'll find LTE sort of platforms are being rolled out in again upmarket neighborhoods, but less so investment in the townships, because there's a perception that usage is not as high because of costs of affordability is an issue. So fiber is not an option. LTE is not available. GSM is still expensive. So what do they get to do? That is where the gap of alternative platforms now comes in.
Okay, but again, if you're saying that there's a perception that it's not used that much in townships, is it true you work in that space as Brightwave? Is that true, or do people in the townships want good quality internet at a good cost as well?
Absolutely. People in townships want exactly the same like everyone else in any other place.
Are they using it?
The usage is low because of costs. If you imagine, we did a study in Soweto, for instance, and the recommended allocation for budget for broadband should be about 5% of household income. Now, if you find average household income is 5,000 rand in Soweto, that means the maximum budget is about 150 a month for household. But 1 gig of GSM service is 149. How many people get to use that, and for how long? So usage is not that high, even if you have the devices. There are a couple of other things that obviously also constrain the usage. Device is an issue, affordability of devices. Digital literacy is an issue. I think the people are not too familiar with what they could do or can do online, so the interest is not as great. And affordability, sustaining yourself on the network such that you have a great experience is too costly. So people do the very basic that they can. It's browsing, it's your Facebook, it's your social media, but you don't get the opportunity to do really robust activities online, whether it's business, whether it's heavy duty files that you share, or if it's be it an architectural firm.
We often, as individuals, look to government to try and help us. But there are private companies. Brightwave, what are you guys doing? Are you coming on board? Are you helping out here?
Absolutely. I think that we identified that there is a gap in the township. I mean, 80% of the population in Johannesburg lives in townships. But they're not served or they're not adequately addressed. So we identified there's a gap. We did a study, as I said. We identified the right price point at about 150 to 200 Rand a month for household spend. And we identified a technology that we believe is appropriate for that environment, which is Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi is becoming quite a mainstream platform now. It's becoming very robust. And now it's being deployed across the whole of Soweto. Before we went to Soweto last year, we had only 4 hotspots in Soweto. We've just crossed our 300 hotspots in 12 months.
All right. So where does one find Brightwave hotspots?
We are in about 50% of Soweto now is covered. So a number of neighborhoods, Orlando East, West, in all the major schools, facilities, entertainment halls, malls, and homes as well. We are connecting people to their homes as well. So we are saying broadband is now coming to you. It's near you, but now it's also coming to your home as well.
If I'm in the area, how do I connect?
Well, you, just like any other Wi-Fi, you'll get into a Wi-Fi zone, you pick up a device. Yeah, you get a password. At this point, we're actually running an open campaign. We're trying to encourage everybody to connect and get the experience.
All right.
But you'll be sent a password, which you load in, and then you can access the network.
Fred Mutori, you're going to have to leave it there. Fred Mutori is the CEO of Brightwave. Thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
Thank you.
Right, let's take a short break, and we'll come back with a new mobile phone.
SABC News seeks to be the biggest, the most extensive and diverse news organization on the continent. Our mission is to provide accurate and credible news and current affairs programming throughout the day. We are committed to covering every part of the continent. We reflect the world to Africa and Africa to the world. SABC News, Africa's news leader. Now available throughout the continent.
Welcome to Business Review. What a week it has been. The Rand has hit a 6.5-year low against the dollar. It's weakened to 11.88 to the dollar. It was trading above 11.70 in December, but it hasn't been at the levels we're seeing today since October 2008.
How do we ensure that we negotiate good contracts so that, money is not flown out of the country?
If we think the Rand is low, the Nigerian currency hit 204 to the dollar today, an all-time low. From July this year, the Zimbabwean dollar will cease to exist.
One of the major serious problems is policy uncertainty in Zimbabwe, and the monetary policy can only be a victim of such an environment.
That's Business News, weekdays at 6 p.m. on SABC News.
Remember, you can find us on social media. We are on SABC Network over there. Now, Nomagati Diego has been playing around with the new Galaxy A5. It's a Samsung phone. Here's what she thinks of it.
The Samsung Galaxy A5 is a mid-level range phone. It has a full metal body and is approximately 6.6 millimeters. It's a comfortable phone to use one-handed, which is usually one of the challenges with most smartphones, as they would seem bigger nowadays. The phone is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 4, which sets it apart because most mid-level range phones normally use crosswear protection. The Samsung Galaxy A5 has 2 GB of RAM, although the battery life is a bit disappointing. It has a 13 megapixel camera, although the front camera is 5 megapixels but has excellent resolution. The front camera has a sensor which makes it great for selfies and video. It's a good phone, but at just under 7,000 rands, it's slightly pricey for what it offers.
And let's see what some people have been sharing in social media. Many in South Africa have been sharing their thoughts on President Jacob Zuma's Nkandla residence. This week, Minister Nkosinathi Nhleko released a report saying the president does not have to repay any money used to build his Nkandla home. South Africa has been accused of paying a bribe to FIFA in order to host the Football World Cup. Many have been sharing their thoughts on that. And popular club DJ, radio and TV presenter DJ Sbu is believed to have lied on television about owning this mansion. This has also been a chatting point in social media. And that's all we have for you. Remember, you can find us on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. It's News Network at sabc.co.za and email. We leave you with a video of a mother who is disciplining her marijuana-smoking child by shaving his head. She subsequently posted the video in social media to show his friends. It has more than 9 million views on YouTube. From me and the rest of the team, have a good one.
So, hi everybody. This is my 12-year-old son, stepson. Terrence Hines. Say hi to the camera, Terrence. Say hi to the camera.
Hi.
Tell the camera how old you are.
12.
How old are you?
12.
You're gonna have to speak up.
12.
And what were you doing today, Terrence? Tell the camera what you were doing today. You was what? You speak louder any other time. And tell the camera what grade you're in right now.
7.
And what grade you're going to? What grade are you going to?
7.
Oh, okay. Why is that? Is it because you're a straight F student? And you like to get high? Can't hear you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know how to cut hair, but we're gonna cut hair today. Terrence has a fresh cut. Got it today. Yes, he did. They're gonna come in the house high. I'm so sorry for my camera, you guys, but we're gonna get this together. That's what we're gonna do. Terrence will not have a hairline. Terrence ain't gonna have no hair. No, look at that. Can you see it? I can't. Look at it. What we don't do is get high at 12.